Hello, my name is Colin Smith. I'm the co-owner of Roundabout Catering and the chef here at Rancharrah in beautiful Reno. Today we're at the Toll Brothers home in Latigo, which is on the Rancharrah property, and we're in the Kinsey model. Today we're going to cook holiday risotto. We're going to use some butternut squash, we're going to use some brown butter, we're going to do a little roasted chicken, and it's going to be just an amazing holiday dish. Cook it for a special occasion when your family's around. Prep time's about an hour. First, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a little chicken stock going. That is easy enough as taking a little chicken base and water and putting it together. That chicken stock is just simmering very slightly. When you make risotto, the trick is to be adding hot stock. So we're gonna start with butternut squash. For the butternut squash itself, I'm just taking a chef's knife. I always take off the long, straight piece at first, and that's all we'll need for this recipe. And I'm gonna cut planks out of the risotto itself, the squash itself. So this is gonna happen just like so. So we end up with a piece that looks just like this. And we're just gonna dice. So here we'll dice the butternut squash in these French fry format, because what we're gonna end up doing with this squash is we're gonna take it, we're gonna toss in a little bit of brown butter, and then we're gonna roast it in the oven. What happens when you roast the squash as opposed to cooking it in a saute pan or boiling it, it brings out all the natural sugars. So the squash gets much sweeter, and it really adds a great component to the risotto itself. Okay, so next part of this recipe is gonna be brown butter. Brown butter is so simple. What it is you're taking the butter solids in the butter itself and you're slightly burning them so they get a nutty roastiness to them. We're gonna cut some bacon. This is a smoked Nueske's bacon, and we're gonna cut those and we're gonna put them in our saute pan, and we're gonna let them start to sweat. Bacon in the pan. We're gonna just put that right there in the pan like so. We're now gonna take an onion and we're gonna dice about the same size as we did the bacon. And so we take our diced onion here and we're gonna put it in our pan with our bacon. And we're gonna put that on the heat as well. So the butter's browning here really nicely. We're gonna take a bit of this brown butter. We're gonna put it right over our butternut squash. We're gonna throw them around a bit. We're gonna add salt and pepper. We're gonna take a sheet pan, and then we're gonna put our brown butter and butternut squash on the sheet pan. And we're gonna set it in the oven at 350 to roast. It's gonna take about 15 to 20 minutes. Because we're gonna talk about truffles. This is just a really wonderful holiday ingredient. It's obviously more expensive than a lot of your standard ingredients. You can buy them at Whole Foods. You can get them through online through Urbani. URBANI. So we're gonna take these mushrooms and we're gonna use them in the brown butter format to flavor our chicken dish tonight. And we're going to spoon some risotto into our pan, because we're gonna cook this risotto as part of our dish, risotto and bacon and onions. And we're gonna toast this risotto. So when we're doing the risotto, you wanna toast it. Add the risotto to the fat, the onions, and we're toasting it. Then we're gonna take our hot stock, and this is when we told you it's good to use the hot stock. We've got this hot chicken stock back here. We're gonna start to slowly add it. And we're gonna add it right at this first add, we're gonna add quite a bit. The first add we add, the first and second adds are the ones you add quite a bit to. So you wanna cover the rice one time when you're adding this first blend, so that the rice is all covered with this first add. It helps kind of break the seal, gets the fat moving, gets the water liquid up, and it brings the temperature of the kernel itself up. We're gonna add a little fresh thyme to the onions. And so we're just gonna take a little bit of these fresh thyme leaves and we're gonna add that right into our risotto, because the holiday just loves fresh herbs. And then again, here we're doing this shuffle that we do quite a bit with risotto, that we're always constantly adding water to it. Think about making rice, but not adding the water all at once. You're adding it in batches. So that's what we're doing. And we'll constantly stir this. Okay, so for the chicken, we're gonna take these beautiful chicken breasts. We're going to set them on a hotel pan for seasoning. Everything we do, we season. So we season it with salt and pepper, which is going to be great. We're going to take some more fresh thyme, and we're going to sprinkle it with some more fresh thyme that we're just chopping up. So it's getting it on both sides, and then we're gonna flip them over and do the exact same thing. I also always put a little bit of oil on the chicken breast so that it doesn't stick. We don't start off by sticking it in the pan. So you can see the chicken breasts, they're starting to really bubble. We're gonna give them a nice color. We're gonna saute them until they get a nice brown color to them, and then we'll go in the oven with them. So we're just gonna take the chicken breast now that we've got them started to get brown and sauteed. We're just gonna take them and throw them right in the oven, just like so. These will go into the oven with our squash, and we'll give it just about 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. Okay, so we're at the step now, which is starting to get a lot more fun. We're gonna start to put the dish together. This is what our risotto is looking like. Starting to get that creaminess. What you're gonna wanna do is you're just gonna bite it. If you're chewing the risotto and you can feel just a little bit of resistance, that's where you want it to be. You do not want to turn your risotto into cream of wheat. Okay, so we've pulled our chicken out of the oven. It's sitting here. We're just gonna set it aside. We're gonna pull it over here, and then we're gonna take a little bit of that brown butter that we made, and we're gonna put it in the bottom of this chicken dish. So what's happening is the brown butter is gonna circle around in that pan where the chicken roasted and all the flavors came out. We're gonna turn it on. We're gonna turn it on medium here. And then we're going to take our truffle, which is the Perigord truffle here. This is just a Japanese mandolin, so what happens is this gives us really, really, really paper thin slices. So we're just gonna go like so, and we're just gonna slice this truffle up. We've got the brown butter that's in the bottom of this chicken dish, and now goes the mushrooms, or the truffles. We're gonna salt and pepper them, and now the heat is working on those truffles to release the flavor. And I wish you could smell this, it's killer. And we're gonna set that aside. The final part of the dish is to add all of the garnish to the risotto. We're gonna take our risotto, and it is like 95% cooked already. It's ready to go. We've got all of our stock in there. You can see how creamy it is already. We're gonna take, now we're just gonna do a little bit extra. We're gonna put about 2 tablespoons of heavy cream in it. And then we're gonna take our butternut squash that we roasted. We're gonna dump that into it. So that's in there now. We're gonna move it over to the heat. You can see what we're starting to look at here. We're gonna move this back to the heat. It's gonna start to work. We're gonna take a little bit of this Riesling. It's a dry Riesling. We're gonna splash it over the rice, the risotto itself. So that's there. And then the last thing is we're gonna add the hairs or the cheese. Because what happens is when you make risotto, you wanna add cheese until you can start to see the hairs pull. Once you lift the risotto up, you're gonna see these little cheese hairs. That's what you're looking for. So you add enough cheese to where you get those little pulls. And that means you've got enough cheese in your risotto. If you don't see those pulls, keep adding cheese. Okay, so the last finishing part of this dish is we're gonna do a little shaved fennel, and this is basically just a texture item. So we've got this fennel bulb, and we're gonna use the same mandolin that we used before, and we're just gonna shave it, shaved fennel. We're gonna take a little tiny bit of lemon zest. We're gonna use a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and then we're gonna chop some chives. We're gonna add those to our fennel salad, which is our fennel and our lemons and our olive oil. So we've got our beautiful butternut squash and bacon risotto with fresh thyme, and we're gonna put that right in this dish. So we've got this great looking risotto, but we're just gonna take our chicken breast and put these beautiful little medallions of chicken around our risotto. Next, we're going to take our brown butter and truffles, and then we finish the whole dish with our fennel salad. This finished dish is our holiday butternut squash risotto with roasted chicken and truffles. Got a little fennel salad. This is definitely the best part of the whole day.